You know, there's some people out there who start gym for noble reasons. Like, they didn't like being weak. They wanted to be strong. They wanted to impress their dad, whatever. I am not one of those noble people. I didn't like the way I looked. So I was like, you know what? Let me go to the gym. And I want to go to look at me and be like, this guy looks good. So it goes without saying that my motivation for starting the gym was aesthetics. Damn, the birds are back. It means it's summer. Then now these birds are back. Yeah, it's definitely summer. But anyways, side note. So my motivation for starting gym was aesthetics. That was what I wanted out of gymming, to have like a good aesthetic body. But the funny thing is, for my first year of training, I was actually training for strength. In my head, my motivation was aesthetics. But day to day, I was focused on, let me improve my barbell bench, let me improve my squat, let me improve my deadlift. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just the way that I was training. And another reason, this is an ego reason of why I started training for strength, is because some of the weights, I'd look at them and I'm like, I can't lift this. So I wanted to feel good in myself. I wanted to be secure in myself. So I was like, I'm going to get as strong as possible for the next few months. And then I'm going to start focusing on aesthetics. So it was actually a conscious decision. I'm not going to lie. You're probably not one of those noble people. You probably started because you wanted an aesthetic body. So I gained about 40 kgs on every single lift. 40 kgs would be about 90 pounds on every lift. So I got quite strong in the course of that year. So the point of this video is to tell you some of the mistakes that I had made and what I would do if I had another chance to go through the process, which I don't. Keeping in mind that my motivation was aesthetics, right? Me training for strength was a bit of a problem, and I'll explain why it wasn't really a huge problem, but it was a bit of a problem. So when I was training for strength, right, obviously I was doing progressive overload, so my lifts were increasing, my bench was going up, my flat bench incline, all those things were going up. So it definitely built my physique, because the key to getting muscle is progressive overload, right? So in that sense, it was building my physique. But because I was training more for strength, focusing on more of the compound movements, there's nothing wrong with focusing on compound movements, right? It did build my physique. I'll show you pictures from when I started last year I'll show you up until now, because I actually only made this change of training purely for aesthetics maybe a month ago. Training for strength over the past year, it definitely did build more muscle, because to push more weights, to lift heavier weights, you're going to need, I think, more muscle fibers. That's how it works in my head. So because I was lifting more weight, my body was forced to get stronger. And because I was getting stronger, my body was creating more muscle. If you're going to get stronger, you're going to build more muscle. That's like, there's a correlation between getting stronger and building more muscle. Earlier, I mentioned how in the past year, I've gotten stronger. My bench has gotten up to 115 kg, squat 150, deadlift 160. It doesn't mean much to me. Like, I really don't care. Like, obviously when you're in the gym, you're in the competitive environment and you see someone lifting, their bench is 20 kgs heavier than yours, and you're like, I'm going to lift up my bench. I'm going to work on bench so I can be stronger. Like, I would only go through that for like 2 minutes. What would really make me envious of someone who hadn't been lifting for as long as me? They'll take off their shirts in the changing room and I'm like, how does this guy have a better body than me? So that's what really pissed me off. When I used to see people who were weaker than me but had a better physique than me, that would actually it would bother me so much. So the mistakes that I made, I actually think I was still training for strength in my first year, because this is my reasoning, right? It's better to get stronger, right? So that you can lift more weight. And then after you have like a good foundation of lifting more weight, now you can go into the isolation exercises. You can go into specific exercises that will help with specific muscles. Because how I see this, you want your core, your foundational strength to be quite good, because it will lower your risk of getting injured. So that's why I focus on squats, on deadlifts, on bench press, like all these compound movements, because I wanted my foundational, my core strength, like my compound strength to be good, so that now when I'm isolating certain muscles, there would be a lower risk of injury. I don't know if it's actually true, but that's just how I thought. And it's actually out because I haven't gotten injured, touch wood, in the past. Yeah, I just haven't been injured since I started gymming. The verdict of this video, I know you're probably expecting more, but the verdict of this video is that I think in your first year, you should have a hybrid of strength and aesthetic training. Like, train to improve your bench, train to improve your squat, deadlift, all these compound exercises, because it will improve your core strength, your stability, stuff like that, right? And then also incorporate like isolation exercises at the end of your workout that will work on aesthetics. I made a lot of progress in the past year. but I'm not satisfied with my progress. I don't think you can ever be satisfied with progress. That's just the nature of life. Because as you make progress, you're exposed to other areas where you can make progress. And because you know other areas where you can make progress, you're not satisfied with your progress. But you're satisfied because you've made progress. So improving is like this thing where you're always satisfied, but you're never satisfied. It's quite weird. Remember, gents, if any of you want one-on-one sessions with me, click the first link in the description. I can't wait to meet you guys. I'll catch you.